Good evening, ladies. We are on week 2 of Scripture of the Week. A couple of things that I want to share with you are I know some of you may not be journalers, if that's a word, but I have thought about. I went to Walmart and I got a deck of index cards, just like this. The back on both sides. And what I decided to do this year, instead of journaling in it, is to create cards with my scripture on it. So I was thinking about if at the end I will have 52 cards with 52 scriptures. You can also buy those little ring things at Walmart and actually put a hole here and have a whole deck of cards to go through to remind you every week, every scripture. My goal is at the end of this year that we'll be able to have memorize 52 scriptures, and also it's a great way to hang it in, put up in your bathroom when you're getting ready, or post at different places at work, or make several cards, or even hand out the cards. So that's just another little idea that I wanted to give you. Now, for all those who watched last week and said, I want the book, I'm going to draw right now online. As you can see, I'm not going to look. And let's just see who the winner of the book is. It's stuck. Oh no. Okay. Are you ready? Patricia, you are the winner of the book. And if you will private message me your mailing address, I will mail it to you. And what we'll do is we'll do that again next week. We'll give away, I'll be giving away a book. And if you would like to enter to do that, you can do that as well. So also, those of you who will be attending the Bible study this on the 20th, I'm going to be giving away a Salty Sister Planner 2022 and you, and living victoriously through scripture. So I'm going to do that too. Okay, so here we go. So the scripture of the week. And as I told you, I really wanted to stack these scriptures to help us get through the year, because I don't know about you, but I need all the encouragement, all the help, and just all the fire that I can get to keep moving throughout this year. So I thought long and hard, but the Lord kept giving me this scripture. This scripture has great meaning to me. Have you ever had a scripture that has kind of resurfaced itself many times? Just many times. Just you'll be somewhere, and all of a sudden that scripture that you haven't read in a while will come back to you, and you'll see it again. Well, this is the scripture that does this for me. And let me get my little card out here to show you. It's Isaiah 43:19. And here's some things I want to share with you about that scripture. I actually am going to go into verse 18 and read you right before the scripture, but then I want to read you this scripture, and I hope that you will use this as a foundation of faith when you're going through this. Here's what it says in verse 18. He says, do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. So from this day forward, ladies, let it go. Don't think about what's happened. Don't think about how things used to be. Don't think about where you were before. I want you to let it go, because here's what the scripture says, and just hold your breath, because this is so exciting to me. I love this scripture. He says, behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Now, when I did the scripture, I did the NLT version. This was the New King James Version. It says, see, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not see it? I am making a way in the wilderness, and I'm making streams in the desert. Now, you know, when I talked about the wilderness, that's a word that is real relevant in my life. And those of you who have been attending the other Bible study know that the wilderness is where I feel like I find myself. And ironically, when Elijah had went and laid under a broom tree to give it up to die, and then he went to the cave, God told him to get back out to the wilderness. There's still work to be done. So regardless what is going on right now, no matter what's going on in your life, there is still work to be done for him. And it's always our story for his glory. So the definition of the wilderness, see if this relates to anything in your life right now: an uncultivated, abandoned, uninhabitable, inhospitable place. Are you there right now? A place that is just like, you feel like there can be no fruit come forth. You feel like there can be nothing. You're in the wilderness. You are worn out. You're exhausted. You're overwhelmed. You're tired of struggling. And you can't even see the ray of sunshine that's coming through the trees. And that's where I want you to be encouraged and pack the scripture in. And I hope that you will read it and reread it and reread it every day. It says, again, Isaiah 43:19, see, put your name there. Put your name there. I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not see it? Here's the thing. How can we see it if we're not looking for it? So, in scripture, David says that I wait with bated breath, which means anticipation. So, in this wilderness situation that you find yourself in, even at the beginning of the year, we have had flooding, we've had snow, now we're going to have ice, the roads are going to freeze. It's okay. It doesn't matter because we know who is on the throne. And he says, I'm making a way in the wilderness and streams in the desert, a road in the wilderness and streams in the desert. It's referring to the Israelites that came through that wilderness who had nothing to drink, and he brought water from a rock and he brought manna from heaven. He is your Jehovah Jireh. He is your provider. He has you in mind. And no matter what you're going to face, he already knows that. He has already been there. He already sees it. He's already pre-planning. But you got to step forward and you got to trust him. Got to open and start living life with your eyes wide open. Because I don't know about you, I do not want to miss or see anything, not to be able to see anything that he's done for me. Now, I do want to share one more thing with you. My dad had given this to me, and it is really it's amazing. How many of you? And I shared this at the last Bible study. This is called this is Psalm 63, and I thought it was just such a wonderful thing that he shared with me. He says in Psalm 63, thou hast showed thy people hard things. And here's what it says. I have always been glad that the psalmist said to God that some things were hard. There is no mistake about it. There are hard things in life. Some beautiful pink flowers were given me this summer, and as I took them, I said, what are they? And the answer came, they are rock flowers. They grow and bloom only on rocks where you can see no soil. Then I thought of God's flowers growing in hard places, and I feel somehow that he may have a peculiar tenderness for his rock flowers that he may not have for his lilies and roses. And it goes on to say, the tests of life are to make, not break us. Trouble may demolish a man's business, but build up his character. The blow at the outward man may be the greatest blessing to the inner man. If God then puts or permits anything hard in our lives, be sure that the real peril, the real trouble is what we shall lose if we flinch or rebel. Think about that. Are you his rock flowers? Does things seem to be always troubling and coming to are all the tests of life seem like they're happening at one time? I want you to be encouraged because again, it says, see, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up just like those rock flowers. Do you not see it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the desert. God will provide for you. God will walk with you. God, your circumstance may not change, but when he enters the circumstance, it just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, your circumstance may not change, but except for God is there with you, and it will help you learn to focus and fight differently like you should. The fire didn't disappear for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, but he was in there with them, but its fury did not touch them. And that's the blessing and the beautifulness of having God in the center of our life. I want you to be encouraged. So we remembered last week, Ephesians 3:20, God is able. I want you to encourage yourself with that scripture and then come behind it says, you know what? He's making a way. God is able to do things greater, more exceedingly abundantly than we can even imagine through the power that works through us. And then again, remember, he is making a way. Maybe you're the rock flowers and just realize that he loves you down to the very core of yourself. He is looking out for you. He loves you. He has created you. He's developed you for a purpose. And whatever pain you're going through, there is a purpose to the end. I'm going to close with this. I shared this with somebody the other day. It's like, if you have a child that's going through labor, that's getting ready to have a baby, and they're in a lot of pain and they're just really struggling and they're hurting, you can deal with that because you know that labor pain is going to end soon, and you know that they're going to see the face of that beautiful baby. And I don't know about you ladies that's had children, it's amazing how the pain just disappears immediately. And you know that that pain is temporary. You know that that pain has a purpose. You know that all that labor and travail is going to bring that baby to this world. And I want you to think about that with whatever it is you're dealing with in life right now, whatever painful situation you're dealing in. Remember, it is temporary. Trust God. Don't let anything prevent you from moving forward. He's prepared you. Now tear down everything that could be preventing you from marching forward into this next year. So remember, number one, God is able. Number two, He is making a way.